So it's been about 15 minutes since I left the building on Shinmei Street, but here I am at the entrance to Tsurugajo Castle, or Tsuruga Castle. Everything from here on back is part of the castle grounds. Now, you'll see some shops and whatnot that are off to the side of the road, but for the main castle grounds, you can see the moat that starts here. You can see the moat that goes all the way around the outside of the castle. Okay? Now, as I told you earlier in another video, the end of next month, and this is something I've been in a couple times, they have the Aizu Matsuri, and they'll have a parade of all of the samurai troops in the old-fashioned gear that'll walk the city streets of Aizu Wakamatsu City. They will start over there in the castle, and part of the walkway will come down this road here that I'm walking on now and out into the city. This is actually one of the more beautiful places in the city, I think, especially during April, and I'll tell you about that once we get onto the castle grounds. Many of you might know about the Japanese cherry trees, cherry blossoms. Especially, there's a whole bunch in Washington, D.C. You can see a lot of cherry blossoms in Washington, D.C., but here in Japan, they are extremely important. Japanese people time their lives in April around the blossoming of the cherry trees. And once we get onto the castle grounds, you will see the entire place is covered in cherry trees. So in April, most of the castle grounds will be taken up by people who've just come to picnic under the cherry trees, under the cherry blossoms on the castle grounds. So here we go, the main entrance into the castle ground. Now, I do not know whether or not the concrete wall that is here is still the same wall that was here during the war. I don't think so. I think it's been redone a couple of times. But you could see the concrete bricks here forming the basis for the protective walls around the outside of the castle. Oh, do we have some English over here? We do. Let's go check it out. Okay, so it looks like it's not the original. Here's some of those cherry blossom trees. In April, even this area back here will be covered in tarps. People will be here sitting down underneath the cherry blossoms. Even the dirt area over here will be covered in tarps. Some people will even go up the steps onto the stone wall itself, which usually you're not allowed to do, but for cherry blossoms, they give people a little bit of leeway. Now, the castle is still being used. Not the castle proper itself, but a lot of the things around the castle, on the castle grounds, are still being used. Over there, you can kind of see a hall. It's actually a dojo, and it's still being used for things like, it looks like there's Tai Chi or dance going on there at the moment. I don't know if you can see it in the video. There's some shadows in there moving around. They also do Nagi-Nata in there, which are the halabrids. On a different part of the castle ground, they do Kyudo, which is the archery. Yep. So apparently they just did some reformations on the castle. So we're about to see the new castle after it's been fixed. Cool. More climbing uphill. Life is an uphill battle, right? Right. That's a sign talking about their grand reopening, so to speak. Again with the cherry blossom trees. So in April, if you can picture it, all these trees all the way from the outer entryway all the way up into the castle grounds, all pink with cherry blossoms. See how high these stone walls were? Imagine back during the Civil War with an army standing between the walls and even another part of the army standing on top of the walls, firing arrows down upon you or holding halberds, etc., waiting just to stab people who tried to walk by. Now this is a sign that gives us all the symbols of the ruling clans in Aizu from recorded time, actually, all the way up to the bottom right hand there, all the way up to the Meiji Restoration in 1868. That's the last clan that ruled this area. You might recognize that symbol down in the bottom right hand corner from what we went and saw on Moriyama. And now, ladies and gentlemen, if I can find an easy place, I'll come over here back this way a little bit, and then I'm going to turn around and give you your first glimpse of Aizu Wakamatsu Castle. Castle Tsurugajo. Beautiful, isn't it? And high up as well. In a basin, strategically speaking, in other areas you'd want to be on the high ground as high as possible, but in a basin, this is about the middle of the Aizu territory, the Aizu Basin. So from that castle, without all the other buildings and whatnot that have been built up over time, you could probably see all the way to the bottom of the mountain ranges all the way around. Good strategic location. Now, as I was saying earlier, the entire ground is covered in these cherry trees. And again, imagine in April walking through here with people sitting all over the ground everywhere, sitting on tarps, etc. Just sitting under pink flowers, just trees that turn pink for only a couple of weeks at a time throughout the year. Just sitting here, and sometimes, you know, when the blossoms are done and they start to fall and it's raining cherry blossoms down on your head, it's indescribable. It really is. The feeling of serenity you get is indescribable. Seriously. But we're going to turn this way now, and we're going to head back up. We're going to head this way to the final step of the final section of going into the castle. Now, I won't be able to take you into the castle itself with me. Again, cameras prohibited. They want you to be here and not see pictures or videos. But I'll take you as far up as I can, up to the gate, up to the front entrance of the castle, and show you as much as I can. By the way, as it was at Moriyama, and as you'll find all over the country, just about everywhere, you'll find little places, shrines, built for whatever spirit, ancestor, deity, whatever, in different sections. Now this one's different from what we saw earlier, because over here on the right hand side you can kind of see what looks like a bunch of ribbons. That's not ribbons, those are wishes written down on paper. And what they do is they'll write them down on the paper and ask the god of whatever shrine is right there to watch over their wish, etc. And sometimes, depending on where you are, the owners of the shrine will let them deteriorate, or will take them and sacrifice them in a ceremony to their gods. Sacrifice them in a ceremony to whatever ancestor is there. Very important. Alright, coming up on 11 minutes into this video already, so I'm going to have to be careful. But, coming this way, heading that way behind that gentleman taking pictures there, you can get to the other side, the other entrance of the castle. So, for this castle, there were only 2 ways to get into the castle proper. Only 2 entrances. And now we're up to the castle proper. Here we are. Isn't that beautiful? Look at everything around there. Just absolutely breathtaking. The serenity in a place like this is just amazing. Over there on the other side of the grounds is a tea house, which if we get a chance we'll go to in a little bit. But right now where I'm heading is over there into the castle. See you in a few.